with Tzvi Lebetkin, the your Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. This is a review of the classic comic book Mouse. I think it's fair to call it classic. The reason I'm doing this review now, it's in the news again. Listen, if you're a guy who likes comic books and is Jewy, basically me, okay? I think I am the only person in that Venn diagram circle. I mean, like super Jewy, super likes comics. You have to have read this comic, right? You have to read this comic, but it's in the news right now because it was recently banned by a Tennessee school board because it was for really stupid reasons, but like for really genuinely stupid reasons. So I haven't really researched that story that much, but because I found people vote along tribal lines nowadays. That's basically how everything is decided. There was this I saw, or was it yesterday or the day before? There was this big court case victory for I would say the Republican Party or Trump or whoever in that Philadelphia. They ruled that the mailing ballots were illegal, right? Illegal, which would then they can't do it retroactively, but if that law was applied in the 2020 elections, then it would have swung the state, right? It was a court ruling. It was a high court. It was a high court ruling that it was illegal. However, people look at the story will say, "Oh, look, there's 3 Republican judges and 2 Democrat judges. That's why it went the way. It just ruled along tribal lines." And no doubt, when it goes to Philadelphia's Supreme Court, which is mostly Democrat, they'll rule along tribal lines, right? So I don't know what this. The school board, right? I don't know where they are. Either they are on one side of the cultural aisle and they want to remove any way of comparing what's really happening in the world right now, which Mouse really does, to current day reality, or they're on the other side of the cultural aisle, rather far on the other side of the cultural aisle, and they probably don't like Jews that much. Okay, so although if you go back on the other side of the cultural aisle, they don't like Jews too much either. It's like, you ever seen Schindler's List? And I will be referencing that in this review. One of the bits that made me chuckle in that movie, right, was right at the end when all the Jews are like, well, where should we go? So, and the Russian guy who finds them says, well, I wouldn't go over there. They really don't like Jews over there. And he says, but I wouldn't go over there either. They really don't like Jews over there. And then they all go to Israel. Which is essentially, well, and then you're like, oh, no, you can't have Israel. You are evil. Now you're the evil National Socialists. So like, really, shut up. Anyway, so I don't know where they fall out on this issue, right? I don't know what's motivating their stupidity. This review is nothing about that. This is a review telling you from a comic lover, Jewy Jews point of view, my review of Mouse, and it's a recommend. Listen, it's a recommend, and I will tell you why as we get into the review. Fine, before we get into it, can you hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button? They are all fantastic buttons to press, regardless what platform you're seeing this on. If you're on Rumble, I hope you're not too lonely over there. But listen, I live in a dream world that one day YouTube and Google will just implode and fall, and then I got everything backed up over there on Rumble, so we can just move over there. If you are on Rumble, baby, have yourself a bit of a thrill. Hit the Rumble button, baby. Rumble away there. It's not very exciting in real life. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And check out my Substack. My Substack has a bunch of fun stuff going on. It's a email newsletter. I have a paid version. I talk about it in every freaking video. So just if you can sign up, that'd be great. Do you want some more, Rabbi? I think I got another inch or 2 for you, baby. That's not true. That's really genuinely not true. Anyway, fine. Like, share, subscribe, comment, thumbs up. Fine, let's get into the review. So Mouse is freaking brilliant. Now, I've noticed the way that non-Jews view Holocaust material, which is like, you guys kind of got to play up the how much you're disturbed by it. It's cool, okay? It's cool. You don't have to. Like, here's the point. The whole, like, from the Jewish point of view, if Jews are the religious Jewish point of view, if Jews are the chosen people, why are they constantly going through shit like this? Okay, this seems to be contradicting each other. The basic idea is this: that again, this is from the Jewish religious worldview, where Jews are essentially the priests for the world. We are the connection between the rest of the world and God, right? We perform this priestly service, right? So that would give you an advantage in life, right? An advantage in the world. So for that, and when everybody has power, they normally end up being a terrible person. If the premise of life is to be a good person, the worst thing you should have is any form of power. So essentially, anti-Semitism and this that has existed for these thousands of years is essentially to push Jews down to make them feel like crap. So if at any point they have any power, they will understand what it's like, right? So that's really the answer. So the point isn't just to make anybody feel guilty, like, oh, the degradation, all that stuff, which is, again, when I went to the cinema and watched, was it Schindler's List? People were like, whenever they were shooting somebody in the head, they were like, and making a show, right? Making a show of how bad they thought it was. And again, we all agree it's bad, right? Nobody should do that in any circumstance. And I agree with that. But that's not the point. And that's not the point in this book. So this book comes in 2 volumes. The first one I really prefer to the second one because it's more about the life of this person, right? The life of this person, and they make him not a very nice person, which is a really interesting idea. The whole framework of it is a father talking to his adult son about his experience in World War II, in the Holocaust, and you saw the growth and the birth of those naughty National Socialists, right, from Germany. And again, the parallels to today, I find overwhelming, absolutely overwhelming. So let's get into review. So it starts off with this lovely little 2-page story, right? This 2-page story, I think, sets everything up for me. Now, the art style is artsy, right? You're not going to get, like, cool, superheroes blowing each other up, right? This is the artwork. It's dark, it's dingy. For me, like it, right? I think it conveys the story. It doesn't distract you, right? I think it works for the story. So it starts off with this little background story where he remembers he was a kid. And he gets hurt and his friends run off. And so he goes to see his father, right? This is in the late 50s, early 60s. And he says, Auntie, come hold this a minute. And he's crying. He's like, why'd you cry, Auntie? And by the way, the voice, you really feel like that German accent in the writing. And he's saying, like, why are you crying? He says, well, I fell, my friend skated without me. So he stops soaring. And this is brilliant, right? This is the reality of the Holocaust, right? He said, your friends. If you lock them together in a room with no food for a week, then you see what a friend. Then you see what it is, friends, right? And that's so true, right? You never know who anybody is, what a friend is, what a friend isn't, until push comes to shove, and that is the story of the first volume. Push coming to shove, right? So the first section is you deal with his the father's early life, and his basically about him losing his virginity a lot of the time. So his father is older here, and he hates the guy's wife, right? That's what he's just not a good person. Well, he's not good. I would say a bad person, but his attitudes have been very, very much formed by his experience with life. So then he starts talking about his life and how he dated this like beautiful woman, and eventually he was just a complete shit to her. It like dumped her to marry the less attractive but far more wealthy woman that became the mother of the artist who did this, of Art Spiegelman. Right, so look, this is a very frank, realistic portrayal of people and people being people, right? There's a scene where he's leaving her, and you just go, wow, that guy's a real shit, right? That guy is a real shit. So then, you see he becomes part of this wealthy family as it goes on. So then the next episode is he's met his mother called the honeymoon, and this is life is going on, life is being normal, right? And this is why I really like this book, because this first 50 pages is about everyday life and about what it's like to live in the 30s, right? The 30s in Poland. Talking about how much he hated communists, things like it, and the political tensions of the time. But they eventually get married, and then on the train they see their first swastika flying, right? And again, think of it today. We've seen this incredible rolling back of civil liberties, and we all look at it the same way as the Jews are looking at it, I can't believe this is going on, right? I cannot believe this is going on. They talk about Kristallnacht, and if you I can understand you not knowing about this stuff. This is not part of your personal history, right? But the point of it isn't to do a condemnation. Well, it is, but there is a lot of condemnation in it, right? But it isn't for that. It's to show you what the experience of living through the world inverting and falling apart in front of you is like. And it's fascinating. On that level, it's an absolutely fascinating story, right? So now the Nazis start to grow in prominence. And things get scary. Things get scarier and scarier and scarier until the amazing thing is it happens in real. It happens in real time. It plays out in a way that you don't normally see it. It's a very very personal, very real experience of this time. By the way, if you want my recommendation, my favorite Holocaust movie, which is bit of a strange thing to say, but I think one of the best Holocaust movies is the Pianist, right, with Adrian Brody, who everybody hates Adrian Brody. I pretty much like everything he's in. I like King Kong. I liked him in Peaky Blinders even. I like Adrian Brody, which is weird. Okay, well, anyway, so but there again, that's a personal story of somebody's journey through 5 years of insanity, 5 years of absolute insanity, where most people around you get killed horribly. In the same way, I would say Saving Private Ryan isn't really about the geopolitical realities of the conflicts. It's about humans within war, right? Within war, doing things that doing things that are insanely important, right? Insanely important on a level of stakes that you'll never really understand. So the second chapter ends up, and they go and they start, and the Poland, which is where he's living, goes to war with Germany, and so he signs up as a soldier. So you get the whole wartime experience, which isn't very long. Again, you probably won't know any of this stuff, right? And Poland is defeated almost instantly. By the way, I haven't really talked about it, but the analogy is the Germans are cats and the Jews are mice. Right, so first thing that happens when they're captured as prisoners of war, the Jews are separated out, right? And then weirdly they're sent home. They're like, well, I don't understand how come they're being sent home. Oh no, first they're in freezing tents while the other prisoners are in the heated huts, right? But you see what it's like, and then you see this incredible thing. He has a dream, and I love this stuff because this stuff is so real and so authentic. So one night he had a dream, and the dream was, "Don't worry, it was a voice talking to me. I think it was my dead grandfather. It was so real, this voice." By the way, there's an incredible book by Sarah Rigler about people today who have experienced recurring dreams of being killed in the Holocaust, right? Which seems to me to be reliving past lives, right? I'll try and find you the name of that book. Really, really interesting. He says, but it was so real. He said, "You'll come out this place free the day after Pastor's Truma," which is each week on Sabbath you read a different part of the a serialized bit of the Old Testament. Pastor Trumer next week, not next week, week after. No, this week. Pastor Trumer this Saturday. So there you go. And then exactly what he said went down, and they were released and sent back to Poland. But the reason they were sent back is because they were given they had certain rights as prisoners of war under the Geneva Convention, and occupied Poland not so much. But here, look, you see now. So now you see. He's wearing this little pig mask, right? Because he wants to pretend to be one of the Poles. And he says, "Look, I'm and you see he's trying to get home." So now we kind of like move into life in occupation. So this is one of the things I found most chilling, right? I've had this beard since I was 17, right? I had this beard since I was 17. And the first thing he sees that all the religious people have had their beards shaved off because it was an order from the Germans, and they said it for national health. It wasn't for health. It was to make a class system. It was to humiliate people, right? And that's what you can see. This campaign of relentless humiliation for Jews went on. And again, this isn't to say, oh, you're this that. I want you to understand what it's like experiencing it. It's incredible, right? And if you refuse, they would rip your beard out, right? And if parts of your face came off with it, all the better. And there's many, many, many stories of that, right? So they're growing back now. In September, the Germans grabbed many Jews in the streets. They made us sing prayers while beating us and laughed. And before letting us go, they cut off our beards. Now. Oh yeah, so he was wealthy, and again, if you've seen Schindler's List, they're having all he has his factory taken away from him. So the next bit, again, fascinating. It's like life under occupation and what they do to survive, and like how terrible it gets. So the first thing they talk about, well, firstly, the main character, the protagonist, because he's not from a wealthy family, does pretty well, right? He knows how to hustle and make money and survive. By the way, I would say one of the most realistic depiction of Jews, wherever you are, is in Schindler's List when they're all doing the black market stuff at the back of the church, right? You see all their banter. That's real, okay? That remains real to the that was very authentic. But it's terrifying, right? The idea is to keep everybody terrified. You could be beaten to death or just beaten in the streets. One time I was going to see Itzig, and it was late in 1941, I think, and his house was very near the train station. It was going on there, something terrible. I had to pass near, and they were grabbing Jews that had no papers. So what I had to do, I think I will walk slowly. They'll take me. If I run, they will shoot me. And then I saw Itzik walking, so I went straight to him. It's basically, what do you do? How do you survive? How do you not get the crap beaten out of you in these situations? And it gets harder and harder and harder. All Jews of the Sosowek must relocate to the Strasbourg quarter by January 1st, 1942. Non-Jews will be moved to the vacated premises. There. So this is when you're thrown out of your homes. This is basically where Schindler's List starts. One of my favorite parts of the year is when the kids go back to school here in Israel, right? Now, it's like that. If you don't have kids, summer's a long time. Summer is a very, very long time. Goes on forever. Your kids are under you. So the first day they go back, it's the most wonderful time of the year. So there's a bit in Schindler's List where you got this cute little girl going, "Goodbye, Jews!" Right? As they head towards the ghetto. I always want to say that. As the kids get on the bus and head off to school, they thank God, free at last. All my kids are older now, so. So this is a real thing that was just intimidating. So then they arrested a bunch of people to make examples of it, and they hung these like 4 people for black market trading or something in the town square. But they left the bodies up there. They leave the bodies up there, and look here. This panel says it all. One second, let me zoom in. This panel just says it all, like how it like. eats at you, eats at you, eats at you. That people didn't want to go outside. People didn't want to go into the town square, and that was the point behind it. Honestly, I think masks are not a bad thing to stop the spread of viruses and disease. I think the mask mandates are done to create a class system, right? Much in the same way as this. Which I think is why people would not want you reading this stuff. So now Jews are realizing they have to go into hiding. This is where they put the grandparents in, and you see all this people just trying to survive as every form of right gets stripped away from you, right? And it goes on and on and on, and you just see how the world implodes. So now everybody's hiding in holes, mouse holes, and again, you get to see what life is like there. What life is like in a living in that world. But also, you get to see what life is like for Art Spiegelman. So he's doing they put this in a real personal story of his mother's suicide, which was decades after the war, right? Again, this is how long this trauma lasts, right? And you just get a complete feeling of what was going on, what it felt like, and that's really the bottom line, what it felt like. So again, the book goes on. They keep chasing their tails, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And now you just getting atrocity after atrocity. When this is a mother, she feeds these kids. Sometimes they hid kids with one person, and they heard the Germans were coming and said, "There's no way my children are going to the gas chambers," and she kills them all. She poisons all the kids, and they never came. They never came, right? And you get all these like different inventive things about how people hid, how they survived, and how it went on. And ultimately, it's all useless, right? Ultimately, it was all useless. As on Wednesday, the vans came. Anna saw her father, and at the window, he was tearing his hair out, crying. He used to be a millionaire, but even that didn't make him safe. Nobody was safe, right? Nobody was safe. And then so then it goes on. You have life in the in the ghetto. If you've again the pianist really does this very, very well, right? And it's just like little story after little story after little story, right? But you see the two ends of the effect of this, right? You see the older version of him, and you see the person it has made, right? And eventually you can't hide. You can't hide any further. They try and escape, but no good, right? It's no good. And then, so this is where the book ends, where he's essentially him hiding, and then eventually caught by the Germans, and he ends up being taken to Auschwitz, and that's really where the book ends. And I think that's where that first book is better that ended there, because you don't really get to focus on like the real atrocities going on, but you get to see how the gradual march to dehumanization, to genocide, right? The gradual march through dehumanization to genocide, and it's the only way it ever goes, right? It never goes any different way. But it's it's worth reading, because man, you will not look at the outside world the same way, right? So the second book is much more of his experience within the concentration camps, and what it's like there, and his everyday story of survival. So the second book, I would say, is much more dramatic, right? Much more terrifying, right? Terrifying in a lot of ways. But again, the point is to put yourself in the place of the people experiencing it, and not to go, "Oh no, I feel so bad." That's not what this book is trying to do. It's trying to give you a personal account, right? And it's this is a fantastic story here, right? Of just weird everyday kindness. He met somebody that he knew from the outside in one of the camps, and he was a mess. They gave him the wrong size pants, and he didn't have a shoe, right? And so this guy was a bit of a hustler. He was able to get himself in good position. So he was able to get himself get a belt for his friend and a fresh shoe. And like at one point, he ended up being given a ton of food. These things happen, right? All these things happen, and they are common stories within the Holocaust, right? This is the bit where he gets a belt and a shoe, and he bursts into tears because it's like his life was absolutely miserable. It goes on and goes on, and it shows you how it gets worse and worse and worse. Very nicely juxtaposed with the current day, with the current day setting, both with his father and him, right, making this book. So the second book, I said, is he had a lot of success from the first book, and that's reflected within the autobiographical nature of the second book. But again, right now we're in just like very, very strong history from a very, very real level of just insane survival, and that's why you will find, by the way, that there was this incredible push to build families, build countries, build cities, right? This from the people who survived, which is something that you also see, right? And then, something else they also get is like this frustration that the Germans had and the Poles had murdering all these Jews. Like it's a busy job. What can I tell you? So look, listen. There's not really much more I can say about this. And here's my troubles really began. I think that's the final chapter, right? It just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually you then get the story of liberation, right? And even that isn't that great, right? Because if they weren't able to feed the Jews food then when the Americans came in, they wanted to give them, but they give them bread, they'll die because they haven't eaten. They had to give them and there was there's nowhere to put them. They still had all the disease, all the typhus. How anybody survived is incredible. But then, right, you get this great little story towards the end. I love this, where his son, the guy who did this book, is driving his father, and he picks up a black guy, and he's like, "Oi there, you schwanzer! Drive quickly, you can't." Exactly the same, exactly the same bigotry. Not to such an incredible sense. So, Saved, this is a great chapter about when the Americans came and they liberated, and how he went from there to being able to surviving in and being moved to America, there were so many agencies set up right then to set people up because they were so many refugees, and he benefited from it. So the second honeymoon, you just get a great idea of who these people are and the times they live through. Incredible book. Really, I forgot how good this was. I got into it as I was doing this review. I think this is worth a reread. I might even get a new edition of it. I think they got an oversized hardback edition. Yeah, why not? Why not, indeed? So there you go. Listen, I think it's a recommend, right? I think probably I'm one of the better people to give you a recommend on this. Go check it out. Go check it out and read the story, but don't read the story and feel good about feeling guilty. It's not about that. Read the story and understand what it is. Understand what it's like, right? That's, I think, all anybody wants. So there you go. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you are notified when new videos drop.